didn't really mention too much about NYLC, right?
Right.
So Amy says like, we want the article also published on NYLC like website or like a blog.
Right. That's a good idea.
So yeah, she asked me, so why not you just continue follow up with Andy and ask him about. Of course, she can tell me, but I think that you are the right person to go about your experiences with NYLC.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so how it started.
Oh my goodness. So, well, thank you for asking. The NYLC, I first started with NYLC, I think in 1990.
Wow.
1990, I think, was my first connection, and it really came from a group called Search Institute.
Oh, they were right in. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Search Institute.
Oh, okay.
They were working on a new instrument. So I was starting my dissertation on service learning, which at that time wasn't very popular. I think I mentioned.
Yes.
Did I mention this?
Yeah.
And so there weren't any instruments, so I was developing an instrument, and I was looking to see if anybody else. Mm-hmm. And I went to a conference, the National Society for Experiential Education conference, NSEE conference, which was a big experiential education conference. And my advisor had suggested, at first my new advisor, who was supporting me, was speaking. And it was in San Francisco when I was at Berkeley. The conference was in San Francisco. And maybe not, I can't remember. Anyway, there was one. My dates are all mixed up after a while when you get old.
No.
But I don't know if it was her or somebody. Oh, I know what it was. I remember now, sorry. I was doing my dissertation, and I came across a study that was done by two people named Dan Conrad and Diane Hedin. And they were here at the University of Minnesota in the Youth Development Center. Studying youth development. And they were doing a study on youth service. And they did a study on youth community service and the impact that it had on them. Dan Conrad had done a dissertation in 1980. And then they had done the study in the 1980s here at the University of Minnesota. And somebody I think I'd read about it. And I followed up with them. Diane Hedin had passed away, I think, at the time. But anyway, I followed up with somebody who was connected. And they said to talk to the Search Institute. So I called the Search Institute was working on an instrument. So I called the Search Institute, and I remember fax, remember the faxes, fax machines?
Yeah.
I sent a fax, and they faxed me back, and they said, we're working on a new instrument on youth developmental assets. So, which ultimately became these 40 developmental assets that everybody uses now. But at the time, I didn't know, and they sent me a draft of this instrument, and I sent them a draft of mine. It was a woman named Amy Asau, I remember her name, and who was there, who I talked to. Anyway, we and she said there's a conference. I said I'm doing on community service and service learning. She said there's a conference in Minneapolis with this National Youth Leadership Council that maybe you should connect with. And so that's how I connected with NYLC, and I went to the conference. I think it was 1990 or 1991 maybe. And that's how I connected. And I went to the conference, and I was like so excited that there was a group there. And I met Jim Kielsmeyer, and yeah, it was really wonderful. And so they just became my home, away from home, to learn about service learning. And then I went to all the conferences for a while until maybe 2005 or 6 or 3 or 4, and then I didn't go because of transitions and things that were happening, and then I reconnected when I came here to Minnesota. It was kind of like coming to a place where I knew a lot of people already. Yeah.
So it's first through this paper by Dan Conrad
and Diane Hedin, Hedin, Hedin.
And
Yeah, and I replicated my dissertation study on Dan Conrad's study. So Dan had studied 3 or 4, gosh, too long, 3 different types of community participation programs, and looked at the different outcomes of those programs. And I did the same thing, only I looked at service programs, one community service, one service learning, and what was more service-based internships. And I looked at the differences in those programs. So I replicated mine, not exactly, but it's the same design. Excuse me, I need to get a tissue. The same design for my study. Can you excuse me 1 second?
Sure. Go ahead,
right
please.
Sorry.
No worries.
Allergies.
Yes, the
Allergies,
pollen.
Yeah,
Pollen.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
I was
Many
out in the
people
sun.
have-
We were outside in the sun, and I got too much sun. So anyway,
Without the pollen, we don't have flowers.
that's
so
true. Yeah, that's a nice way of looking at it. Meanwhile, suffering, but.
I love the tulip down. Like they're just few, but
aren't
then
they beautiful?
yeah, they're
Yeah, very,
really
very
pretty.
nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
No worries.
So
So Dan and Dan, they know Search Institute. They work with them at that time, or
I don't know if they were connected to Search Institute. They were with a center called the Center for Youth Development, I think, or something like that. They were in the School of Human Ecology at the time, I think it was called, and now it's the School of Social Work. And then Diane Hadeen died. She passed away. I never met her, but that was really the first study, and I still remember it was this green report. It was in a green piece of paper, so that's how I got connected at NYLC. Yes, and then they played a very important part in my life, in my career. I mean, they really connected me with a lot of people who were interested in the subject, and because I felt very isolated for a long time. And then I started doing research, and then I was presenting research at the conferences, and then we had some projects with them that we were doing, and then I became a board member.
So when was that?
The board member?
Yeah.
When I was here.
Oh.
So I became a board member, I think, in 2012 or 13, maybe 2013. Yeah. Yeah, 2013.
Are there any memorable moments that when you were working together with NYLC?
Oh, lots. A few personal things. I remember going to the first conference because I had read about Jim Kielsmeyer, and I'd read about Rob Schumer, and then I was there and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Jim Kielsmeyer, and I'm in the same room with Jim Kielsmeyer, and that's Rob Schumer, and I got so excited that they were there. I was a graduate student, and I was so excited to meet people I was reading about, So I remember that. I remember there was a conference in Philadelphia. I think it was 92, 1993, 94. I don't remember the dates anymore. And they had speakers, and I was one of the featured speakers. And it was it had a number of speakers on the front, and it was Hillary Clinton, who was invited speaker.
Oh.
And my name was right after Hillary Clinton's. Oh. So that was exciting. I could say, look, Hillary Clinton. Yes. She was the first lady at the time,
Yes.
So that was kind of fun. I remember that. I remember a lot of student presentations, students getting up and talking about their service learning experiences and just reminding me why I was doing service learning, because just they were so inspirational, just the different projects, initiatives, and they were so articulate and so enthusiastic, and a lot of teachers were there too, who were excited about teaching, wanted to do service learning, and I remember a lot of those discussions. I'm trying to remember too, just we had research roundtables. Just being able to really connect with people who were doing really important work in the field at the time, and just feeling really privileged to be in the same room with them.
Is there anyone in NYLC or in this field that has a lot of impact, you think has the most impact on your career?
On my career or on the field?
In your career.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think Jim Kielsmeyer, definitely. I think Rob Schumer, absolutely. I would say...
And in which way they have this impact?
Well, just connecting me. Well, first of all, because of the work that they did and their pioneering work and their leadership, and just embracing me and being excited about the work I was doing and interested in it, where I was feeling very isolated and like, nobody really cares about this. They were like, yes, this is important work. So it gave me inspiration, encouragement. I would say Nieves Tapia from Argentina was very influential too. She and I became very, very close friends and really kindred spirits in a lot of ways, and working together over these last 20-something years on lots of... she and I have presented together on every continent.
Wow.
I know. She's going to be in Singapore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is she part of the NYLC board member?
Oh, yes. She's been very close to Jim as well. She received the Alec Dixon Award, which NYLC gives. And I remember being part of that nomination for her. And, she runs the whole Latin American service learning thing, and she invited me, I remember this, in 1998, when I was at Berkeley. We didn't have Zoom or Skype. I mean, we didn't have these things. So, via satellite.
What?
Via satellite. We used to do things via satellite years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember we had to get a via satellite thing, and I was zoomed into her conference, and it was such a big deal, and we had all these people and working. Anyway, so I remember that very vividly. So she's a big influence. My advisor, Pat Cross, was a big, big influence, because she would agree to work with me, and she's a big name in higher education, and people go, oh, you work with Pat Cross, and so that was very influential. And she got up at a conference, a National Society for Experiential Education conference. She gave this presentation called The Coming of Age of Experiential Education. And she said one of the emerging areas is service learning, and one of my students is working on this, and I was like, so. So she was a big, big influence. Those were the really people who just really made a difference for me. I'm sure there are others I'm not mentioning, but yeah.
And how do you think, like, your expertise, what do you do back in Berkeley or here in Minnesota, has made an impact in NYLC or the work they do?
You have to ask others that question. That I don't know.
So humble.
I don't know if I can answer that. I would say...
well, what role would you want to play in this?
I would say, I had to reflect on this for this paper article interview I have to do. I think a couple things. One was that I wasn't just a researcher. I was a teacher, and I was a school administrator. I had been in the school systems, and that, I think, gave me some legitimacy, maybe, as a researcher, that I had experienced this. It wasn't something I was just studying. I also, because I was at Berkeley, I think that had some cachet, that people knew the university, and you say you do research at Berkeley, and people right away have a certain conception of that, conceptualization of that, and I think that helped. I think the fact that at Berkeley, I was doing development of university-wide work, service learning for the university, and was doing research on higher service learning in higher education, and I was doing service learning in K-12 education. That I was bridging these two areas of research that were working in parallel, that they really weren't mixing very well. A lot of higher ed people didn't go to NYLC conference, and a lot of K-12 people, primary secondary school people, didn't go to Campus Compact conference. But I was working in both areas, so I was able to bring some of those things together. And I think another thing is a number of people had said to me is that I was able to present things in a way that were understandable. That I wasn't talking about propensity score matching and the caliper of 0.25 and the
Yes.
But I was talking about I would present the research in a way that would make it understandable to people who weren't necessarily researchers.
Yeah.
And people would say that, oh, you can explain it, and so yeah, I think that's it. And I think I was doing work early in the field at a time when there weren't a lot of people doing this work, and so people were hungry for research because I was one of the few people, I wasn't the only one, but one of the few people that people were interested in that because they wanted that research. And so, and I'm not saying the research was necessarily great, but it was one of the few things that was available, so everybody gravitated to that. I don't know, those were the things I would say. So just the circumstances and luck and all that. So.
And how about in the next maybe 3 or 5 years, how do you see NYLC plays its position, its mission in this field?
So, Amy and I talked a little bit yesterday. It's been really fascinating to see how the service learning field and community engagement fields have really changed and evolved over the last 30 years. Really changed in a lot of ways. And how a lot of organizations have come and gone in this space. And how NYLC has been able to be around for 35 years and continues. It has its ups and downs. Played times when it was 1,000 people at the conference, and then times where we didn't get a lot of people because they had so many conferences, but it has continued, and I think because of the values that it has maintained, that this is about young people, empowering young people to make a positive difference in the world. And service learning has been seen as one of the ways to do that, if not one of the best ways to do that. And that's what they've always championed. They haven't championed, it hasn't been about promoting NYLC. It has been about advancing the field. And that's what they've always been committed to. And that's what Jim Kilsmeyer was committed to. That's what all the leaders of NYLC, and definitely Amy's committed to. It's not about Amy, it's not about NYLC, it's about the field. And what they can do to advance the field and to engage young people. And how do you say, I don't know if this translates well, walking the talk. Not just talking the talk, but walking the talk, right? So when they talk about empowering young people, we don't just have conversations we don't just bring adults together at a conference and say it's important to engage young people, right? They engage young people at the conference. Their conferences have young people presenting and on stage and giving keynotes, and right? So they live up to those values, and they've remained true to those values. And I think that's the contribution that it has made and will continue to keep NYLC alive and remaining an important part of what it stands for, because that's what people see. They see those values, and so for the future of NYLC, I think as long as they remain true to the values, it's going to continue to play a very influential role. You know, they had 400 people at this conference. I mean, it's like,
maybe next year they're gonna have more from coming
and
from different.
And it's not so much more. It's more about people who really ascribe to the values.
Yeah.
Right, because they could say, well, we only have 400 people. We'd like to have 1,000 or 2,000 people. Let's change our focus. Let's change our values so we can get more people. Let's be more things. Let's try to expand our focus to attract different people so we can have more numbers. It's never been about that. It's always been, these are our values, and this is what we're going to stay with. And somehow people and units and groups participate.
Yeah, the value that attract the right people to come.
Yeah. And every year the discussions are rich and inspirational, exciting. I couldn't go this year, unfortunately, because I was on a sabbatical little leave, but it's really an important organization, one that's really changed the field a lot. You know, all of us who are able to do the work, I wouldn't have this position if it wasn't for NYLC, because of what it would able to nurture and inspire early on, and to see that there is a field and there isn't a group of people who are interested in this. I couldn't have done that. I would have given up.
Yeah, I think like keeping a long time from early, before I was born, and then I met Jim like yesterday. We had breakfast, and then he brought up all those photos from the South Korea War where he was so coming from all this way, and now seeing Amy and then continue carrying out this. Wow, that's
I know,
really,
it's really great. Amy's really amazing, and she's so dedicated. But that's how this NYLC has been a group of talented individuals who are so committed to this work, and it's never about them. It's just about the work and the field and commitment to this cause, and if we call it a cause, and so that's what sustains. That's what makes NYLC so special. And I can't tell you how honored I was when I got the call to be on the board, because at NYSC it meant so much to me. And when they called, they said, "Would you consider being?"
Who gave you the call?
I'm trying to remember who it was. It might have been Amy. No, it was. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Isn't that terrible? It wasn't Jim. It was one of the board members.
Dr. Surut?
Surut?
Or Michael Van Coolen?
Might have been. It wasn't Sue. I work with Sue a lot. Boy, I can't remember who gave me that call.
It will come.
It was one of the board members who called me, and they said, "Would you be interested in being a member of the board of NYLC?" And I was just so honored. I was just so honored. And I said, "Yes, absolutely, I'll do it." So that was one of the things, you come full circle in life, thinking where you start out and what things have meant to you. And
wow, that's a really interesting journey. Yeah. Unpredictable.
Yeah.
But then it's serendipity, but I feel like serendipity has a reason to be serendipity. If you don't really have this value, you won't really meet
That's a great point.
people.
And you don't take risks because when I was offered this job here, it was a big risk.
Oh.
I was at Berkeley 14 years, and things were going fine. And, would I like Minnesota? Can I do this job? Being a university vice president, and I'd never done that before, and it was a big risk. And so I took a 2-year leave of absence from Berkeley.
Oh, yeah.
Because I said, I don't know, I'm going to go there and I'm not going to like it. They're not going to like me. I may not do a good job. I may not. I need a place. I want to make sure I can come back. But I've been here for 12 years now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. Do you think you'll continue to be here?
I hope so. Yeah. As long as I can make a contribution, and I feel like things are moving forward. These are really difficult jobs. This level of position is really difficult. Every job is difficult, but this is really, really difficult. It's difficult physically because you're working all the time, but there are a lot of politics involved. If you make a decision, somebody's going to be angry. If you don't make a decision, somebody's going to be angry. You don't have a lot of resources. People think you have all this money, and you don't have a lot of resources. And then everything shifts, and you have to work with all these other things that are happening. So we have an agenda. We want to move this work forward, but then all these other things are happening. So you have to kind of weave in and out of all these other things to move. And then there are these bigger priorities that get more attention, and then you have to find. You have to kind of poke through those so you can get some attention and some visibility. It's really hard. It's a hard job, but it's a great challenge, a great learning experience. So and having organizations like NYLC become really important because we rely on NYLC and other organizations to give us visibility to be able to say, look, NYLC has all these teachers and educators that are doing this work, and these other organizations have universities that are involved, so we should be involved too. We should have this work because we're going to be left out if we don't. So it gives us the impetus to do it.
Well, surrounded with people who support your job, I think, or support what you want to do is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to believe in it. I never saw this as a job. I saw it more as a responsibility. Now I do, because I saw how difficult it was for me as a director of service learning when I didn't have a lot of support. I mean, I had some support, and there were, vice chancellor supported it, and the provost supported it, but they weren't thinking about this every day, but I didn't have a lot of resources. I didn't have I had to, write grants all the time, and I thought, what would happen if they really championed this, if they took this on and they invested in it, and now I'm in a position where I think that's my role. I have to be out there, I have to be visible, I have to showcase, I have to support, I have to make sure that those who are doing this work have what they need to be able to do it well. And so I see it as a responsibility.
Then it's our fortune to have you as, someone who has been through these challenges, when there's no resources, and now, time to really, make this.
Yeah, it's easier said than done though, where I wish I had money to give. Right, I just wish I could give my service learning director more support. I don't have those resources, so I have to ask for them, and everyone else is asking for money. And we have to go through this whole process, and so it's challenging. But
that's life.
I enjoy it. Yeah. But I'm really glad you're here. You've been enjoying your time.
Yes, so I'm meeting people like almost every day, and
Good.
people in the field. Like this morning is Michael McCullen.
Yeah, he used to
and
be on the board. Yeah, he's a
yeah,
great guy.
and tonight we're going to like the Ramadan, like it's a
Ramadan.
community invitation. So they invite community members to come. So either
Good.
you are Muslim or not, it's all welcome.
Right.
So it's gonna be my first time.
Good.
So, yeah.
Excellent.
So meeting new people and then learning about their stories, I think really like sparkles not only just in service learning but like my whole self. Like,
Right.
yeah,
Right. Have
I
you been
think
enjoying your time here?
very much.
Good.
Yeah, Amy told me don't count down the time because I only have like less than 2 weeks.
Oh.
I'm leaving next Friday.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So,
Well,
but
at least you got to experience some of the nicer parts, the weather.
I
Of
think.
Minnesota, this is
Yeah.
this is the best it gets.
I wouldn't ask for because Beijing has a lot of heat and then rain.
It gets
and
really
then,
hot.
Yeah.
It's good.
So once I'm back, I'm gonna have shorts. So I love the weather and I love the people and I love every moment that I am here. I
Yeah,
receive.
that's
I don't really ask for more. I don't compare which is better. I think what I get is the best.
Oh,
So I
that's
just
great
really
to-
immerse myself in
Yeah.
every moment. People, I encounter Sarah, from the next.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I had a conversation with her yesterday morning. Yeah, so we talk about community engagement, community work.
She's
It's
terrific.
yeah,
she's very good.
we find so connected.
Yeah, she's very, very good. We have a great team here, I have to say.
Yeah.
All staff is just really amazing. I'm very, very fortunate.
Yeah.
And that makes it different to us too, to have people who value the work, and we don't always agree on everything, but that's okay. But everybody's committed to doing what's in the best interest of the field, and so that's been really nice to see.
Yes. Yeah, that's a cure for this hard job, like doing this budgeting and then all about this administration work.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. There's a lot of administration work.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Very,
Thank
very
you
good.
so much.
Did you have any other
Andy.
questions?
If like this article is going to appear in NYLC like blog, is there anything that you want to mention or is there anything?
No, just to make sure that.
We'll definitely send. I think Amy is going to be like the final
send a
editor.
copy, okay.
Yes, for you to review and
Yeah,
anything.
thank you. Just that NYLC has been a very, very important organization for our field. That it has really changed our field in innumerable ways, significant ways. That has really has made a difference. And there wouldn't be service learning in a lot of parts of the globe were it not for NYLC. I know that for a fact. So it's a very, very important organization, and I think it's going to be really well positioned in the future to continue to make an important difference. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely put that as a very important position in the article.
Yeah, I think that's really key. But it was so nice to spend time with you.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're
Every
very
time,
welcome.
you're very friendly and.
Well,
Yeah,
my
when you mean
pleasure.
that we can catch up next time, I asked him, is he serious? I can even have another time to talk with him.
Of course.
Yeah, he's very honest and genuine. Don't worry, he meant that. He said, oh yeah, because not all people mean that. He said, let's catch up another time, but never there is another time.
Oh really? Oh no,
Yeah,
I'm really
so-
glad we could do it.
Yes, thank you
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much, Andy.
Absolutely,
I really
absolutely.
appreciate that.
And I have something for you and Rose. So if you just a little something to say thank you for your visit.
Oh no!
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness!
It's just a little something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for you and for Rose. Did you get to see Rose?
Yes, tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes, I'll
good,
give it
good.
to her.
Please
Oh,
tell her.
thank you so
And it's so nice
much.
that you got to visit
Yes.
with us.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the best of luck.
Yeah.
And I hope you come visit again.
Definitely.
Maybe I'll see you.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes. I'm still around.
Yeah, well, I'll see you.
Yeah, we'll
next-
see.
Yeah, good.
Oh, is it the Chinese researcher still here? Like
Guan Chi.
the one you mentioned that you're doing
Did
research?
I send her a note?
No.
Did I CC you? I thought I sent her a note.
I didn't.
I thought I sent her a note. She's still here, yes.
Oh, that would be great.
Why did I think I sent her a note? I really think
Maybe you did. Because sometimes my laptop didn't really get the emails that people send to me. So
okay. Let
yeah,
me
I'm just
see
making
really
sure
fast.
that.
Maybe I didn't send it. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, fine. because I don't want to miss like chances to meet people.
Yeah,
who are
no.
doing...
Let's see. Chi. When did we meet? Do you remember what day it was?
Yes. Let me check. I think.
Let me send her a note right now. I'll just send her another one. It's okay. One Chi.
Oh, it's May 3rd, a Friday.
May 3rd.
3 to 4 p.m.
No, I guess I didn't send it. Meeting with colleague. Hello, Wan Chi. We have a great colleague, Lisa. Which one? Last name?
L.I.
Lee.
Yeah, Lee. Lisa Lee. So
Lisa
L.I.
Lee.
is my family name.
Visiting us from Beijing. Who is working on
Can be education and service learning.
Community education and service learning in China. She is in town for another 9 days.
Yeah, until 25th. Yeah.
In town until May 25, and I thought perhaps it would be great for you and her to meet, and given the work you've done in service learning.
Do you think that's you put my cell phone, or is like you CC'd me?
I'm gonna CC you.
Okay. SAI.li.
Lisa Lee.
SAI.
Li.
Yes, SAI.li.
Lisa.li.
No, not Lisa. It's SAI. Is it?
What is that? I'm sorry.
Oh, I can type it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I have.
I can receive it right away.
I have CC'd her here in the event you and she have an opportunity to connect.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Hopefully she's not that busy.
You have a chance to meet. She's very sweet.
So she's not in this.
No. She's in she's in the counseling program in the School of Education, but she's working with us on a research project.
Perfect.
So
Thank
there you go.
So
You're
much.
welcome.
Yeah, I will got it in a few minutes in my email box.
Great.
So much,
You're welcome.
Andy.
So nice to see you, and I'll see you before you go.
Every time, when I pass by, I say, "Oh, Andy."
All right.
I wish you have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
I
You
will
too.
do, like in the Ramadan.
Good. Enjoy.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Take good care. All right, Lisa. You're welcome. You're welcome. Bye. Bye. Hi, Jackie. How are you doing?